on the subject of strengthening Michigan's foundation. Much has been achieved. In the area of talent development and talent retention, there's simply much more to do. Ladies and gentlemen, to lead us on our new challenge, the governor of this great state, Rick Snyder.
Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you for that great welcome. It's exciting to be with you, and this was my first hobble up the steps, so I'm making progress. It's been quite an experience. But first of all, I want to start by thanking our sponsors for putting this on, for the support to make this double summit happen. I also want to thank all the speakers, the participants, and I want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. You all have very important things going on in your lives. You have many competing interests. But I want to say thank you for deciding to be here today and hopefully tomorrow, because what we're talking about is really important. This is something that we have a great opportunity. If you look back in history, there's been a governor's education summit for some time, where people would get together and talk about education issues. When I came to office, I started another summit, an economic summit, to say we needed to do more to focus in on our economy. And one of the things we did to break that out really early was to say, let's recognize we're a great state and we're doing incredible things by working together. But we also need to recognize one of the great powers we have in Michigan is our diversity. And we're a very different state in many different ways. We have common ground, but then we should actually celebrate our diversity. And so we set up the 10 economic regions. And so very much from the beginning, the economic summit was focused in on regional participation. Actually, that idea of grassroots innovation. How do we get great ideas coming out and being adopted by one part of our state that can be embraced by others? And how can we help and learn and support one another? And so we had these two summits going, and when you step back and look at it, to be blunt, I thought it was kind of silly that we had two separate summits. So this is something we started working on after the first round of summits 2-3 years ago, is to say we should bring these together. Why would we bring them together, though? Because that's our future. The combination of economics and education. That's our opportunity to get our young people into great careers, to have them have fabulous opportunities at a personal level. On a statewide level, it's our opportunity to bring our economy together, to really create that energy. And to be blunt, it was an area where too often we live in silos. And people would think, I'm an educator, or I'm a private sector person, or I'm an economic development person. The Michigan of the future is blurring those lines, getting us to recognize we're Michiganders first and foremost. We bring a particular skill set to the table, but that shouldn't be the only skill set we have. And the greatest things that we have going for us is when we cross those lines, when we erase those lines, when we show we can be absolutely unique and innovative by recognizing there aren't those lines, that we can do things together. And so really that was the synthesis for creating this joint summit, to have a chance to learn from one another, to listen to one another, to innovate together, and to win together. And so I really hope you embrace that concept as we go through the next couple days. I think we have a fabulous program. We've got great attendance, and I heard the first sessions went very, very well. There was virtually no room in a number of them to even get in and sit down, and that's fabulous. I wanted to highlight 2 or 3 things, though, that will take place during the summit. First of all, I want to recognize our Teacher of the Year, Melody Arabo. And Melody, where are you? You're here somewhere. I know we were meeting just a little bit earlier. Melody, stand up and let's give us a round of applause for our Teacher of the Year. There she is. Melanie, I wish I would have known. I would have gotten you better seating. We had a fabulous discussion, and I want to thank her for her interest. She was already giving intriguing ideas, and she's a huge advocate on anti-bullying, which is something very near and dear to my heart. So there's so much common ground that we found just in the few minutes together. Secondly, I want to encourage you to check out some of the exhibitors here in terms of people showing things. Two groups in particular I want to give a shout out to because I love both these groups. I am absolutely passionate about both of them. The first one is FIRST this year, FIRST Robotics. We have 3 robotics teams here today, and let's give them a big shout out. To give you an idea of scope and scale, we're up to 349 teams in the state of Michigan. We've well left California in the dust. And over the last couple of years, I can give you some stat. I know we got to get the numbers from this last year, but the year before it was clear. In Michigan, we created more teams in Michigan than the other 49 states combined. That's the future of science, technology, and math. But we also have another great group doing fabulous stuff that I want to give a big shout out to. In particular, they've been a catalyst in the Upper Peninsula, but they're doing good stuff all around Michigan. They're at the Detroit International Auto Show, and that's Square One. So let's give a big shout out to Square One for their outstanding work. They're doing great things. They're doing autonomous vehicles where they're doing things like at the auto show to encourage young people on how to look at that future field. Another great project they have that I believe they're showing here is their 3D printing, where they're sending out printer kits to teachers. And teachers that put them together can use those 3D printers to show kids in the classroom how to do that new technology. It's fabulous. Adaptive manufacturing. It is one of our future areas. In fact, I just recently got an iPhone 6, but I can tell you I had an iPhone 5 that had a case made by Michigan students with a 3D printer, and it was really cool. So let's keep on working on ideas like that. So that's really exciting. And one other thing I want to show you is we're going to introduce this whole concept, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow, so I'm spending very little time on it today. It's the whole concept of career counseling, career tech education, and the skilled trades. So we're going to be launching some videos. We have a video geared towards young kids that we'll be introducing tomorrow. But right now, what I'd like to do is show you a video by Mike Rowe. And most of you are familiar with who Mike Rowe is, but he's helping us do this. And we want to kick one off for older kids and parents and all of us to be using that will eventually be rolling out. But we want to give you a snapshot preview. So if we can roll that video.
Know what I hate about the expression alternative education? Everything. Alternative to what exactly? An expensive 4-year degree? A mountain of debt? Look, I went to college. I wouldn't trade the experience for anything, but back in those days, most people could afford one of these. Now, kids graduating $40,000, $60,000, $80,000 in debt with student loans, I'm telling you, that's no way to start a career. Here in Michigan, the alternatives are better than you think. The opportunities in healthcare, IT, advanced manufacturing, construction, welding, tool and die, they're endless. If you're willing to learn a skill that's in demand, if you like to work with your hands, if you like to build things, watch this video. It's short and it's sweet. And when it's over, I'll have some information you can't afford to ignore.
My name is Jeremy Stasho, and I work in the foundry doing various types of metals.
Tool and Die is so exciting. It's all about making something. It's all about taking an idea, a concept, or a design and creating an actual tool.
I've been out of high school for a year, and I ended up installing Windows, and then I found my way into here, and I've been hooked ever since.
I'm basically a foundry operator. We do everything with the dies, that is, from pouring them to taking them out, setting them up, getting them basically ready for CNC mills.
My name is Aaron Dodge, and I am a CNC programmer and machinist. It starts out with a design, and then it gets over here to cut the styrofoam, which is the whole shape of the tool that we're making. And then from the foam, it gets casted into the foundry. The cutter is picking up all this styrofoam and cutting it in little bitty pieces. It's crazy, flowing everywhere.
We get a white foam from CNC, and we ram everything with sand, hard sand it's called. Once you're done, you flip it over, you dig them out, which is the white foam, and you set up the jobs, put pins in them in slots, and then you pour it with the liquid metal.
You know, I started off not knowing anything when I came here, and now I can do everything in here, from running the sand machine to pouring the dyes to setting them up to cleaning them.
We need more people. We need a bigger workforce. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. It's a good living. You have a lot of people that are in this trade that are older and retiring, and we need to get more into it. The younger, the better. Come to the tool and die trade. Come here.
You can make a great living in manufacturing, and the training process should be really collaborative, and it should be exciting.
If you love working with your hands and you want to love the career you're getting into, tool and die is a great route to go.
That's what I'm talking about. These guys aren't just making a living. They're making the things that make civilized life possible for the rest of us, and they're having a ball in the process. Teachers, parents, students, guidance counselors, if you're serious about exploring all the opportunities in Michigan, please go to mitalent.org. Get all the information there, and remember, not all knowledge comes from college, but skill, that's a matter of degree.